Call to order. Mr. DeHart, would you please do the invocation and pledge?
Lord, be with us during this meeting. In dealing with the agenda at hand, may we treat each other's opinion with respect. May we learn how to reject ideas without rejecting people and share visions although we not share the same means. May this meeting be for us an opportunity to be servants to the people we represent. We humbly ask this in your name.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call? Oh, excuse me, before we do roll call, a moment of silence.
Let's please have a moment of silence for the following individuals who recently passed away. Vincent Jackson, retired custodian. Mary Jane LaRussa, retired school teacher. Carol Edmondson Pellegrin, retired school teacher. Carla Elfert Bageron, retired school teacher. Sherman Barabin, retired custodian. And Victoria Beale, retired school counselor. A moment of silence, please. Thank you.
Roll call.
Mr. Michael Lagarde. Mr. Gregory Harding. Here. Mr. Matthew Ford.
Here.
Mrs. Debbie Benoit. Here. Mr. Don Crowdis.
Here.
Mr. Clyde Hamner.
Here.
Mr. Roger Dale DeHart.
Here.
Dr. Maybelle Trahan.
Here.
And Mr. Dane Bozan.
Here.
Madam President, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We begin tonight with one of my special things, with special recognition of Terrebonne Parish School District's outstanding school support personnel for the 22-23 school year. I've always said, as a teacher and as administrator, without our support personnel, our schools would not be anywhere. We depend so much on our support personnel to keep us going through our day. They are so very important to us. I'm going to call you out by name, and we're going to have a plaque for you, so you come up and take your picture, and if you have a word to say, you'll be welcome to give that opportunity. So first we have Amberley Molinier, paraprofessional from Montague Elementary.
Thank you.
I'm Amberley Molinaire. I'm from Montague Elementary. I'm the Indian para there. I have my husband, Timothy Molinaire, the junior with me, and then I have Connor Molinaire and Timothy Molinaire, the third with me, my two boys. And I also have my principal from Montague Elementary, Ms. Roderick. I absolutely love my school. It's just a very close, I feel like I'm working with my family. The students are awesome. I love just being there with them.
Awesome. Congratulations, Ms. Molinaire. Next up, we have Ms. Kristen Marcel, paraprofessional for School for Exceptional Children.
Kristen Marceau at the School for Exceptional Children. Special needs children just have a special place in my heart. And They make it easy to go to work. My husband, Keith, my boys are playing baseball right now, so.
For high school level, Miss Sandra Evans, School Food Service Technician at HLB.
No, I'm just gonna thank my family. My name is Sandra Evans. I work at HL Bourgeois for many years, and I enjoy my job. And I'm so glad to have my whole family here with me. My mother, my sisters, and all my friends. Thank you.
Congratulations again to all three of you, and thank you, family members, for coming out and supporting your support personnel of the year. Announcements, and item number 5B. On the 5th of April, we will have the Employee Representative Committee meeting at 4:30. From April the 7th through the 14th, we have the Easter holidays. On April 18th, there was a special school board meeting followed by Buildings Committee, Education Committee, Finance Committee, and then the Executive Committee. On the 22nd of April, American Cancer Society Relay for Life at the Civic Center. April 24th through 28th is Secretary's Week. On the 2nd of May is our regular school board meeting. On the 4th of May, we have the Employee Representative Committee at 4:30, and we have our beginning of graduation season. Indian Education graduation, a Homer Municipal Auditorium at 7. On the 8th through the 12th of May is Teacher Appreciation Week. On the 15th of May, we have through the 19th is Educational Bosses Week. On the 16th of May, we have committee meetings, starting with education, followed by finance, executive, and did buildings. On the 17th of May, we have adult ed graduation at the Civic Center at 7. The 22nd of May, we have Ellender High School graduation at the Civic Center at 7. On the 23rd of May, we have HL Bourgeois graduation at the Civic Center at 7. The 24th of May, we have South Terrebonne graduation at the Civic Center at 7. And at the 25th of May, Terrebonne High School, 7 o'clock at the Civic Center. Don't call me for an appointment that week. We're going to be very busy. Moving on to item number 6, board meeting reports. Item A, finance. I turn it over to Mr. Hamner.
Thank you, Dr. Trahan.
Yes, sir.
Finance, Insurance, and Section 16 Lands Committee met at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, March 21st, 2023, in the boardroom of the school board office with the following members present: myself, Chairman, and Mr. Roger Dale Dehart. Also in attendance were Dr. Maybelle Trahan, Mr. Dane Voisin, Mr. Matt Ford, Ms. Debbie Benoit, Superintendent Bubba Angeron, and members of the staff. The meeting was called to order and began with the invocation and pledge. Ms. Catherine Gilbert Terrio, Director of Business Retention and Expansion at Terrebonne Economic Development Authority, and Mr. Scott Hebert, Risk Manager at K&B Machine Works, addressed the committee on consideration of approval to adopt a resolution to support KB Machine Works in its participation in the ITEP program. The committee recommends that the board approve and adopt the resolution as presented, granting the request by KB Machine LLC contract number 201-70624 ITE and 201-80498 ITE.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Dehart, seconded by Mr. Crowdis. Anybody from the public wish to address this motion? Mr. Dehart?
Yes, sir. In support of this, I know employees that work there, live here, spend money here, and we give back in another fashion. So I want to keep businesses here alive in Terrebonne Parish.
Mr. Crowdis? Any other members of the board? Mr. Ford?
I was kind of hoping we'd hear from Mr. Scott Hebert. I seen him in the audience. I want to reiterate that I still believe in what K&B is doing. And I believe, and I'm appreciative of what they do in the community, not just as a business, but as a, they do a lot of community outreach, provide for a lot of families. I'm still a little skeptical of this whole ITEP program. It's not just K&B, it's every company that's come before us asking for this exemption. And I think a lot of times the way I look at it is, if you guys aren't really doing something that we see in the community ourselves, it's harder for us to just accept that, we're giving up these funds. But like I said, I believe in what you guys are doing. I really just want a little more oversight in the future. And I know it's hard to find employees right now. I know there's an employee shortage, and I know there's a lot of different issues that businesses are dealing with. So I don't want to harp on that, but I do want to see a little more. I like when you guys come once a year for these meetings, but I want to see a little more correspondence, a little more dialogue between us and you guys and the other companies as well. This needs to be an ongoing thing. You guys can help us out. We can help you out. So, I'm gonna be in favor of this tonight, but I am gonna be reaching out to you soon. I reached out to Doug Hipstreet 4 times in the last year, and not once have I gotten a call back or an email or anything. So you might want to mention that to him too. I'm going to reach out, okay? And I want to hear back. Thank you.
Any other members of the board? Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion passes. Recommendation number 2, the committee recommends that the board approve and adopt the following revised budgets for the General Operating Fund, the Child Nutrition Program Fund, the 1-cent sales tax fund, the half-cent sales tax fund, the 3/4-cent sales tax fund, disaster fund, building fund, and various special revenue funds for 22-23 fiscal year. Moved by Mr. Dehart. Seconded by Mr. Ford. Anybody from the general public wish to address this motion? Mr. Dehart. Mr. Ford. Any other members of the board? Any opposition to the motion? Hearing none, the motion passes. Got a lot of pages to go through here. Okay. Recommendation number 3. The committee recommends that the board approve and adopt the following original budget for the special revenue funds for 22-23 fiscal year. Moved by Mr. Dehart. Seconded by Mr. Ford. Any members of the public wish to address this motion? Mr. Dehart. No, sir. Mr. Ford. Any other members of the board? Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion passes. Recommendation number 4, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the lowest bid received, meeting all specifications for the office supply catalog contract from Louisiana Office Products, Inc., 210 Edwards Avenue, Harahan, Louisiana, for a 12-month period from July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, with the option to renew for 2 additional 12-month periods under the same terms and conditions upon mutual agreement between Terrebonne Parish School Board and Louisiana Office Products. Moved by Mr. Dehart, seconded by Mr. Harding. Anybody from the general public wish to address this motion? Mr. Dehart? Mr. Harding? Any other members of the board? Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion passes. Recommendation number 5, the committee recommends that the board reject the bid received from Conrad Piku Jr., 114, on that street again. Catawba.
Catawba.
Okay, on Section 16, Township 21 South Range 12 East, due to non-responsiveness, and allow the purchasing department to re-advertise those sections where no bid was received in those sections in which leases were surrendered. Moved by Mr. Dehart, seconded by Mr. Wazan. Anybody from the general public want to address this motion? Mr. Dehart? Me too. Mr. Wazan? Any other members of the board? Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion passes. Recommendation number 6, the committee recommends that the board approve and adopt the following act of amendment approving the renewal of the oil, gas, and other liquid or gaseous minerals lease on Section 16, Township 19 South, Range 19 East with Fort Apache Energy, 116 Ranch Drive, Borney, Texas, for a period of 1 year from April 23rd, 2023 to April 23rd, 2024 under the same terms and conditions of the original lease dated April 23rd, 2019, pending board attorney review. Moved by Mr. Dehart. Seconded by Mr. Crowdis. Anybody from the general public wish to address this motion? Mr. Dehart?
Yes, sir, I'm very comfortable knowing that it's a repeat of the same conditions from the original lease. And I know our attorney, Ms. Richard, is going to be looking at it, so I feel comfortable supporting that.
Mr. Crowdis. Any other member of the board? Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion passes. By the way, I practiced saying that down during the last couple of weeks. That was the other one I couldn't pronounce. Recommendation number 7, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the renewal of the master contract for professional services with All South Consulting Engineers for a period of 1 year beginning May 5th, 2023 through May 5th, 2024, under the same terms and conditions.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Ford. Excuse me, Mr. Dehart? Okay, I just saw your hand go. You're going to second it, Mr. Ford? Any members of the public wish to address this motion? Mr. Ford? Or Mr. Dehart, I'm sorry.
I'm still requesting a copy of this. I never received yet.
Okay.
In committee.
And
Thank you.
I just have a question whether or not this was put out to bid or if it was just an option that we decided to, we elected to go ahead and renew. And I didn't have a chance to ask this question at committee, so.
Becky?
What was the question?
So my
Mr. Ford?
question is, was this put out to bid and did anyone else bid on the opportunity to do this? Or was this just something we elected to renew because we had the option to do so?
When we initially entered the contract, it was put out. It was an RFP. At this point, we are just electing to renew because of where we are in the process of hurricane recovery. It would be very difficult if we tried to bring in a different contractor at this point, and we're very satisfied with the work that they are giving us, and they have someone dedicated to us in our office all day, every day. We're very satisfied with what we're getting from them.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't see it.
Could you do me a favor and make sure Mr. Dehart gets a copy?
Airmail.
Did that happen that quick?
Thank you, Ms. Rubin.
Thank you. See, pays to be the chairman.
Thank you.
Which one am I on? Number what? 8. Recommendation number 8, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept a salary.
Did we vote on number
Oh, we got to
7?
vote.
We
I'm
haven't voted on
sorry.
number 7. Other board members.
Any other board member? Ms. Trohan, Dr. Trohan, I'm sorry, I apologize.
While we have Old South on our agenda and in a good discussion right now, I just want to give them my thanks for all that they do and for them to know it is much appreciated.
Any other members of the board? Mr. Ford?
I did have a comment after that question, but I was gonna wait till everyone else. So the reason I asked that question is because I was approached by another potential firm, and they asked about it, and I didn't know the answer. So I needed to know the answer as to why we renewed and not sent out to bid. But it makes sense with dealing with what we're dealing with FEMA and the recovery. I don't know enough about the other business to say whether they could handle it or not, but the answer that I received was sufficient for me, so I just wanted to make that clear. I wasn't probing and I wasn't being, unfair. I need to know. If someone asks me, I want to be able to give them the answer. So, thank you.
Anybody else? Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion passes. Now recommendation number 8. No. Am I on number 8? Okay. The committee recommends that the board approve and accept a salary increase for all full-time employees equal to 5% of the 182 teacher pay scale for all instructional professional employees based on degree and experience, and a 5% increase to be applied to the base salary schedule of all non-instructional support employees effective July 1st, 2023. Funds to be derived from the 1-cent sales tax fund or the respective funding sources for positions not paid through the 1-cent sales tax fund. Additionally, adjust those years on the salary scale that are frozen by adding an average of the 3-year increase in each of the 3 years.
So moved.
That was
Moved-
his question.
Moved by Mr. Ford and seconded by Mr. Dehart. Any members of the public wish to address this motion? Mr. Ford. About time. Mr. Dehart.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna speak in favor of it, and I'm gonna ask for a substitute motion, if it's allowed. If not, I'll come back later. But first of all, I do agree with this wholeheartedly. I got educated with the questions I had before today, and I'm very comfortable with what the motion is. And only, I'm gonna make the comment is why, if I'm out of order, I'll ask to speak after everybody else. But I'd like to possibly ask for a substitute motion, make sure the superintendent and staff look at other scales and part-time people that are very valuable to the school system, because this does not include them. And I know we've taken year after year, we're doing different segments, and that's all I'm gonna say for right now.
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate as a separate motion and
Yeah.
not to be contained, because it's
Yes,
a
sir.
material difference. So if you want to do that, and we can, it had been on the agenda, but you can bring that, you can also suggest it
The
tonight.
item is about giving a % raise. I'm saying I agree with that, but I want to clarify and add to this motion. How it's not on the agenda.
I think that if you're discussing other raises for other employees that weren't noticed in this motion, I think it's more properly addressed in committee.
If I can,
No.
I
I'd
could
like
put
to-
it, if we can't, if she says we can't put it on tonight's agenda, we can put it on the next agenda.
Okay.
And we can strongly suggest that he bring back maybe some recommendations.
if I can offer,
that
Disagree
offers-
with your
I
attorney.
have a solution. It could be an alternate motion. All you have to do is remove full-time, where it says for all employees instead of all full-time employees. And what I'm saying is that's what he's asking for. So that would be,
That's not the team of for my team, right?
Exactly.
So,
Not hearing a second to that motion.
Dies for lack of second.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I tried.
But I'm not, we're gonna come back. to
I'm not
what you're-
finished.
I know.
Wait.
Did I call public already? Anybody from the public wish to address the motion as it was read? And you're good? You're good?
Yes.
Any other members of the board? Ms. Trahan.
Clarification to which motion we're voting on when you call for objections. Is it the original?
There
Or
is
is it
no,
an alternate?
there's one motion, the
It's
one
the
I read,
original.
the one that's
Okay.
in your packet. Any objection to the motion? Hearing none, the motion passes.
So, Mr.
It
Hamner,
looks like I'm done, yeah.
Mr. Hamner?
Yes, yes, sir.
About the previous motion, thank you, board, for approving this. This is, like Mr. Ford said, much needed, and I know the employees are going to appreciate your support in this whole endeavor, going through this 5% raise. It's a big commitment you're making, and it's going to pay off tremendously for all full-time employees, so thank you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Crowdis.
So, when I was deciding to run for the board, one of the things that I talked to teachers about was supporting efforts to give them a raise if the opportunity presented itself. I'm very excited that it's come within the first 3 months of me being on the board. With that being said, though, I would like to acknowledge the fact that years ago, according to what I've learned from the budget person, the parish voted for a tax increase of a certain percentage. I think it was 3 separate occasions. And that passed. And the allocation of those funds was supposed to go and be set aside directly for what it's being used for tonight. And I would like to say that that's how I think business should be done. When you pass an amendment, when you put something before the voters and you tell them you're going to do something, and then they pass it, then that's what should be done. And that's why this raise can be apportioned tonight. And so I'm appreciative of the superintendent of bringing this forward. Thank you.
Mr. Dehart.
I'm not trying to be argumentative in no way, Mr. Crowder. I just want to say out of respect, I appreciate what you said, and I do totally agree. But I served on this board for every one of those elections. And I'm telling you right now, it was for all employees, and it was meant really and truly forefront was for our certified teachers and full-time employees. But every employee makes this system work the way we have it working right now. It takes everybody. Take a para, whether it's part-time, out of a classroom, it really, really puts a load on the teacher, and it also slows down the help a child gets. That's my opinion. And I'm not an educator, but I've seen the results that it takes everybody to make this operation what it is today. And that's the only reason I brought it up. So, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sure thing,
That's
Mr.
all I have.
Dehart.
Thank you.
And I'm not going to contradict what you just said. Anybody else? Madam Chairman, there being no further business to come before the Finance, Insurance, Section 16 Lands Committee, the meeting was adjourned at 6:28. I turn the meeting back over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Hamner. Next item is the Executive Committee. Dear members of the board, the Executive Committee met immediately following the 5 p.m. Finance, Insurance, and Section 16 Lands Committee meeting on Tuesday, March 21st, 2023, in the boardroom of the School Board office with the following members present. Myself, President, Mr. Dane Voisin, Vice President, Mr. Michael Lagarde, member. Also in attendance were Mr. Clyde Hamner, Ms. Debbie Benoit, Mr. Matthew Ford, Mr. Roger Dale Dehart, Mr. Don Crowlis, Mr. Gregory Harding, Superintendent Bubba Orgeron, and members of his staff. The meeting was called to order. The Executive Committee can examine and authorize payment of invoices for the current month, including supplemental payroll and travel expenses. There were no committee member concerns at the time. Do I have a motion to accept this report? Motion by Mr. Voisin, second by Ms. Benoit. Any public comment? Mr. Voisin? Ms. Benoit? Any other members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered. Being no further business to come before the Executive Committee, it was adjourned at 6:31 p.m. Next item of business is Buildings, Food Service, and Transportation Committee. Mr. Voisin.
Thank you, Madam President. The BFT committee met immediately following the 5 p.m. finance meeting committee meeting and executive meeting on Tuesday, March 21st, 2023, in the boardroom of the school board office, with all board members attending, also Superintendent Ogeron and members of his staff. Recommendation number 1. The committee recommends that the board approve and enter into a bus lease agreement between South Louisiana Wetlands Discovery Center and the Terrebonne Parish School Board effective June 5th, 2023 to June 16th, 2023 to provide bus usage for the South Louisiana Wetlands Discovery Center summer camp, provided buses shall run during normal operating hours on weekdays as needed, mileage reimbursement at a per-mile fee equal to 50% of the cost of 1 gallon of fuel at the time of travel, with a minimum per mileage fee of $2.25 per mile driven, provided and paid bus drivers approved by Terrebonne Parish School Board, provided all necessary insurance requirements are met, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. So move, Mr. Harding.
Second.
Second, Dr. Traha. Any public comments? Mr. Harding? Dr. Traha?
No, sir.
Any board members? Mr. DeHart?
I'd like to ask the superintendent a small request. In the future, anybody wants to come use our facilities or work with us in partnership, they ought to have a representative come instead of staff doing this. That way we can ask questions if there's any concern. Tonight, I don't have any concerns, but in the past years, we've always had a person from the organization come and make a request. And the supervisor is more than welcome, and he's handling it very well. Just that it should be the person here, that way we can ask questions if there is any questions about
Correct.
anything.
Good point, Mr.
I'd
DeHart.
just like to ask the superintendent, I can't tell him what to do, but I can ask him. Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. DeHart. Any other board member concerns? Mr. Ford?
I know we've beat this dead horse a few times, but I just want to verify that the money that we collect for this transportation goes back to transportation. Is that correct? Okay, it doesn't go to the general fund, it's used for maintenance and other purposes. Okay, just want to make that clear. Thank you.
Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 2, the committee recommends that the board approve and enter into a bus lease agreement between Fletcher Community College and the Terrebonne Parish School Board effective June 30, 2023 to provide bus usage for the School of Nursing and Allied Health Summer Learning Experience for 9th through 12th grade students, provided buses shall run during normal operating hours on weekdays as needed, mileage reimbursement at a per mile fee equal to 50% of the cost of 1 gallon of fuel at the time of travel, with a minimum per mileage fee of $2.25 per mile driven, provided and paid bus drivers approved by Terrebonne Parish School Board, provided all necessary insurance requirements are met, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. So move, Mr. Crowder. Second, Ms. Benoit. Any public comments? Mr. Crowder?
I think this is a good program. Right now at Shawberry, we're having a hard time keeping nurses and taking care of the increased number of patients. So I hope this program yields fruit in the next few years or so.
Very good point. Thank you.
Mr. Voisin?
Wait, Ms. Benoit.
Okay.
Okay, yes, Mr. Hamner.
I'd like to make a substitute motion. And this is why it's come to my attention that this program, it's only a one-day program, and Fletcher's going to be carrying mostly Terrebonne Parish students and also giving Terrebonne Parish students first choice. So I'm going to make a substitute motion, since it's mostly our students, that we waive the cost that we normally would charge.
Okay. So I have a motion to waive the cost, since it's mostly our.
It would still pay the bus driver fee. I'm
Yeah,
just talking
absolutely.
about
So the cost of the fuel and mileage. So we have a motion by Mr. Hamner, second by Mr. Ford. Any other, well, I gotta go back to the public comments?
I think Mr. Aubert's in agreement with that.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm in agreement 100%. Yeah, being that they're mostly our students, and it's a one-day program, and I spoke with the representative, and it was kind of like Mr. Crowder said. She was telling me that they needed they needed nurses, and they needed these type of things in the medical field, and I'm happy that the board has brought this up as far as letting them get it free of charge as far as mileage is concerned. So I know she'll be ecstatic if it passes.
Any questions for Mr. Aubert?
So these charges, I'm sorry. I should
Okay.
raise my hand.
The motion was by Mr. Hamner.
Make the motion, Mr. Ford seconded.
Mr. Ford, second. Any questions for Mr. Aubert?
No questions, but I like the idea of us doing this because, what keeps playing over and over in the back of my mind is we are not for profit, right? We are here to educate folks, and if we collect too much, public perception could be that we're trying to profit off of this or anything, and that's never the case. And I just want to make sure our actions are showing that that's never the case. We're doing this, so we have this opportunity to do this for a majority of our students, so I'm definitely on board with it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ford. Mr. Crowdis.
And so the organization we are relinquishing the fee for is Fletcher?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fletcher itself.
Do you know what that comes to, just curious?
No, because I would need to know what the going rate is at the time they use our bus and where they fuel up at, so I wouldn't quite.
It's not a whole lot,
But it
though,
won't be a
right?
whole lot of money.
Okay.
Now, they're staying in town.
Sure.
So they're not, so it won't be like they're going out of town or something like that.
Thank you, Mr. Devon.
Yes, sir.
Mr. DeHart.
I like the idea, Mr. Hamner brought it up, and I'm in total support of it. But just as I was saying earlier, right now, how many buses we need, we don't know that. And the reason I'm saying that information would be prudent to me, we've had programs from our VOCTEC, programs with nursing that would go visit Job Air Medical Center and Terrebonne General. And that was like field trips. But the kids that were in the nursing classes got an eye-opening experience, and it encouraged them. So I think right now, by doing this, I hope Fletcher listens to what I'm saying, that they come to our facility too. It's not just theirs, because we offer dual enrollment. Not every school system offers that. That's something for our students, and I'm totally in favor of it. But like I said, I don't care if it's 5 buses or it's 2 buses or it's 1 bus. It's just that we should be partners for everything, not just a one-way street. And I'm not saying it is a one-way street. I'm saying right now, years past, they went to the other hospitals, even the nursing program went to the retirement homes, taking care of the elderly. That's an eye-opening experience for people to encourage. So I hope that statement today from me is going to enrich and grow and even be better and bigger. Because I
Thank you.
agree with Mr. Crowder too.
Thank you, Mr. DeHart. Any other board members? So before we move through with this, we need to read the substitute motion. You're going to do that? Awesome, thank you.
I'm gonna give it my best shot, Mr.
I'm
Boisson.
sure you're going to do a better job than me.
We're gonna do our best. It's just gonna be, the committee recommends that the board approve and enter into a bus lease agreement between Fletcher Technical Community College and the Terrebonne Parish School Board, effective June 30th, 2023, to provide bus usage for the School of Nursing and Allied Health's summer learning experience for 9th through 12th grade students. Provided buses shall run during operating hours on weekdays, waiving the cost for fuel and mileage, and further, provided all necessary insurance requirements are met, and authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto.
I think we missed one thing, though. Paying the bus drivers. Yeah, that little statement,
well, that we
provide,
do.
yeah, provide and pay bus drivers.
Yes,
Yeah,
That's a good catch.
that's us.
yeah,
Thank you.
okay. So that's the
We
motion.
got it.
Mr. Hamner, motion that's seconded by Mr. Ford. Public comments? Mr. Hamner, I think that was a great idea. Good job.
Thank you.
Mr. Ford, any other public comments? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Substitute motion passes. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Obear.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Hamner. You're good for something. You didn't hear me. All right, recommendation number 3. The committee recommends that the board approve and authorize the purchasing department to advertise for RFPs for air monitoring services.
So moved.
So move, Ms. Benoit. Second, Mr. Crowdis. Any public comments? Ms. Benoit?
No, sir.
Mr. Crowdis? Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 4. Committee recommends that the board approve and accept the lowest bid received, meeting all specifications for the building repair project in response to Hurricane Ida at Acadian Elementary School from Foray Contracting Group, LLC, P.O. Box 70, Thibodaux, Louisiana, 70302, in the amount of $2,629,000. Accept alternate number 1 in the amount of $206,700, and establish a total project budget in the amount of $3,118,936. Funds to be derived from FEMA reimbursement funds and local funds, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto.
So moved.
So move, Mr. Hamner.
Second.
Second, Dr. Traha. Any public comments? Mr. Hamner?
No, none.
Dr. Traha?
I have a question for Ms. Bro. Just a quick question. I just want to make sure we have all our Ts crossed and our Is dotted. First, when was this bid opened?
This one has been more than 10 days.
Okay.
And so we do have all the
And they have
necessary
all
documents.
the post-bid opening submissions turned in?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yes, ma'am. So just so that y'all know, we have, I think I said this at the committee meeting, we've developed a checklist, and we're requiring them to submit that checklist to us so that we know we're not going to bring you any recommendations unless we are sure that the architects have all the documents that they are required
And
to
all
have.
these things have been taken care of?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much for easing my worry.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other board members? Mr. DeHart?
I'm gonna be very upfront. I don't appreciate the project managers for recommending this. That's why we got the architects working with them. The architects look at everything, just like previous board members said. They make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. That's why we have so many architects on staff. The architects should be making this recommendation. I know they're working together, but I still believe the architects ought to be playing the lead on whenever the actual work is being done. Project manager is supposed to get all the stuff together and all of the components together. That's my opinion. I'm not an expert, but I still think, why do we have project managers and architects? I think I'm close to being accurate on that, to where if something don't go right, the architects are still here. And I'm not meaning the project managers are not available either, because Mrs. Smith's organization is doing great. I'm talking about, not Mr. Ryan Smith, but our consulting group is watching over everything. But to get the actual work done, I just find it's a faster pace to get things done. That's just from previous projects and multiple projects, whether it's storm damage or new construction. So I'm just voicing my concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeHart. Ms. Benoit?
Just would like to check that total, that 3.1 million, that's already been approved by FEMA?
Adam LaFleur, FEMA consultant. So it has been submitted to FEMA for the line items. FEMA pays at cost of the approved damages. So we have submitted the scope of work to FEMA, and until this is approved, then we'll submit the actual cost. We only submitted estimates, but they'll pay whatever the actual cost is once we have the final numbers. But it was submitted with the scope of work provided for it. So once they approve that, then they just actualizes the numbers when we get to that point.
So we know that if it comes in at this amount, they will pay this amount?
Yes, because they agreed on the scope of the work.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
Mr.
I'm
Ford.
sorry, don't go
Wait,
over.
wait, wait, wait.
Please. And I'm sorry to ask another question, but it's open the door in my mind, is that no matter what the price is, what percentage is FEMA you think is?
90%.
90%, so the other 10%'s gotta come from us.
That is correct.
Right.
And
That's why I want clarity about what's going on.
Mhm.
Make sure we got everything done and don't have to go back.
Yep.
Or get overpaid and you gotta pay it back, and it takes us years to get all the
Yep,
funds.
so it's 90% of every project on moving forward. All the 100% was previous to October 10th, 2021. So everything now is 90%.
Mr.
That's good for us to know. Thank you.
Mr. Ford?
So just, I don't know, I guess I need to get this straight in my head. This is approximately a 10.7% increase from what was there before. So I just want to make sure this is not creative accounting at its finest. I want to make sure this is actual, like, so why is there the increase in cost? Is it because the estimate that they did initially was under what it should have been? I mean, I think I understood that the first time when we had it in committee, but just for clarification's sake.
Mr. Ogeron, you want to answer? I know we spoke. Ms. Bro? Or,
Okay, so let me rephrase my statement and then question.
I think
So
we're
the
doing some
2.6
difference with the windows or
where's the
something. I
numbers?
don't want to speak not knowing for sure.
The 2.629 million, right, increased to 3.118 million. And that, with the additional $206,700, is about a 10.7% increase. And I just want to know, why was that increase?
So the difference between the bid that was received and the total project budget is the architect fees. So, and architect fees are on a fee curve, and the state of Louisiana sets their fees for them. And so that's the 10 point whatever percent that it ends up being is architect fees.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
I have one more question.
Mr. Hamner, sorry.
I was just wondering, is anybody here from 4A Contracting Group tonight?
Another one bites the dust.
Yes, no?
I'm not sure that they were asked to be here.
Okay. I'll let you have that one, Mr. DeHart. We're awarding a $3.1 million contract to a company, and they're not even here to hear it.
Okay, Ms. Benoit.
Yeah, just one addition to this, and not just this recommendation, but any of them that talk about cost and FEMA reimbursements and local funds. And we know, as Mr. DeHart brought up, 90% is FEMA, 10% is local district. Maybe we need to put that in our recommendation so that we can disclose the difference. And, you know, people look at that and it just says FEMA reimbursement and local funds. How much is one or the other? And we know it is, we all know, but not anybody that reads this knows. And I think anytime we have something like that, it should be 90% paid by FEMA, 10% paid by the district.
That is a good point, and we will add that to the recommendations going forward.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good. Thank you, Ms. Benoit. Any other board members?
Can we do it to this one, or is it to? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, oh, yeah. No, I was just gonna do this one since we're dealing with this one now, you know, and then move forward with it, but you'd rather wait? Okay, that's fine. We can do
Okay,
that.
thank you. Any other board members? Any objections?
Object.
Okay. One objection, Mr. Hamner. Any other objections? Okay. Motion passes.
Can I just vote?
Recommendation number 5, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the lowest bid received, meeting all specifications for the asbestos abatement project in response to Hurricane Ida at Acadian Elementary School from One Priority Environment Services LLC, 4028 Daly Avenue, Fort Worth, Texas, 76180, in the amount of $108,000. Funds to be derived from FEMA reimbursement funds, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. So move, Mr. Harding.
Second.
Second, Dr. Trahan. Any public comments? Mr. Harding? Dr. Trahan?
No, sir.
Any other board members? Any objections?
I'm just afraid to ask, is anybody here from this company tonight?
Guess not.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any objections?
I'm not going to object to this. Make my
Okay.
point.
Okay. Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 6, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the lowest bid received, meeting all specifications for the asbestos abatement project in response to Hurricane Ida at East Houma Elementary, Village East Elementary, and Coteau Bayou Blue Elementary, schools from One Priority Environment Services LLC, 4028 Daly Avenue, Fort Worth, Texas, 76180, in the amount of $11,500. Funds to be derived from FEMA reimbursement funds, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. So move, Mr. Harding. Second, Dr. Trahan.
Yes.
Any public comments? Mr. Harding? Dr. Trahan?
No, sir.
Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 7, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the substantial completion dated February 27, 2023 for the site repair project at the School for Exceptional Children, subject to the punch list. Upon completion of the punch list, final inspections and receipt of the lien-free certificate, authorize the release and retainage, and further authorize the board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto.
So moved.
So move, Mr. Hamner. Second, Mr. DeHart. Any public comments? Mr. Hamner?
Just a question, are we going to get a chance to do a walkthrough ourselves as board members? Go on the punch list? Just, I would like to, before it goes to final approval to the board. Or before we accept the, is that right, before we accept the punch list? Help me out, Mr. DeHart.
Mr. DeHart.
Whenever we have a punch list, usually it's completed by the time you make the inspection. And if there's anything not done, that's why if the architect would be here, we could get that question answered tonight. But
Is the architect here tonight?
No, he's not.
For this one, it's a fence project, so that's up and installed, and there's no really issues with the fences at this point. It's a good point, though, but it's nothing detailed in this particular item.
But it says site repairs, it don't say, I don't see fences. I don't see fence in this wording at all.
That's what it is.
That's why I'm saying the vendor would be here or the architect would be here. We get information, that way everybody knows what's going on.
He talks to us, and we can kind of see what's going on. So that's what it is.
And don't get me wrong, staff does an excellent job explaining it to us, but sometimes, we just like to hear from the architect or the builder or the company themselves.
I done saw the fence, it's beautiful.
Okay. Any other board members? Were you done, Mr. Hamner?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, I spoke out of turn. so-
No. Just asking. Good question. Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Recommendation number 8, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the change order for the Ellender Memorial High School baseball field repair project in the amount of $8,900.91 due to additional needs for the backstop net, backstop pads, batting cage, and fencing
So moved.
topper. So
Second.
moved by Mr. DeHart, second Dr. Trahan. Any public comments? Mr. DeHart?
No, sir.
Dr. Trahan?
Just can't wait to get it done.
Yeah, amen. Any other board members? Mr. Ford?
Just a simple question, this $8,900, is that equipment and labor, or just equipment? Just materials?
Do you know, Mr. Ogeron, do we need?
Okay.
Okay. Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Before I turn it or finish, I do have a question. We're saying 90% FEMA, 10% us. That's come up a couple of times. Correct me if I'm wrong, our 10%, is that, like we have insurance, which I know it doesn't cover a whole lot, that doesn't come from there. Can you explain that?
That was gone with the wind.
So we already used it all? Okay.
All 10 million.
So this is gonna come, okay, let me let you explain.
Okay, so the insurance, so whenever you have previous FEMA funding, you have to maintain that amount of insurance already. So based off of Katrina, Rita, Gustav Ike, y'all allocation of insurance has pretty much already been allocated to certain schools to cover that obtain and maintain requirement. So all this additional 10% is not coming from your insurance. It's gonna
So
come from
once our
general fund.
insurance, we exhausted all of that, that's when FEMA steps in,
Yes.
is what you're saying?
Yeah, so
Okay.
after that's exhausted, then FEMA comes in.
Okay.
After that. So they
Okay.
don't come until you have expended all of it. So either it already went to previously required maintenance or was paid with stuff from
Okay, thank you.
remediation or something else that was
Yeah.
done previously.
Thank you
to-
for clarifying that. I don't know if everybody knew that. I wasn't sure. Okay. Any other board members?
Just want to comment, you're doing a great job, I really appreciate you, and that's the value of having you here, and you hear at every meeting. So I appreciate that. That way we got clarity, and we're not going to leave here tonight wondering if we did right or wrong, or what's next. So thank you for all what you do.
All right. There being no further business to come before BFT, I turn the meeting back over to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Boizan. Next item on the agenda is Education, Technology, and Policy Committee. Ms. Benoit.
Thank you,
Giving you a
Dr.
new
John.
name.
Thank you. The Education, Technology, and Policy Committee met immediately following all the other meetings on March 21st, 2023, in the boardroom, including myself as chair and Mr. Matthew Ford as vice chair and Mr. Don Crowdis. In attendance were all the other board members, Mr. Ogeron and his staff. There were no recommendations at the committee meeting. We had Mr. Cotton, who, our curriculum specialist, who presented some information on unruly splats coding program, and then Ms. Cheryl DeGrees, who, the supervisor of federal programs, presented information on the summer learning program. And then additionally, Ms. Sandra LaRose provided, she's the chief academic officer, presented information on the English language arts literacy program being offered to the third and fourth graders. We have a comment? Yes, yes.
I just want to make a comment that the agenda item that was removed, the advertisement for bids for the STEM kits, was done because our staff and our superintendent decided a better spending of our funds was to do away with the STEM kits because they are a bit expensive, and we can actually build our own STEM kits for a lot cheaper, and they're a lot more applicable to what we do at our summer program. So if anyone out there is seeing that they were removed, it's not because we're not doing the STEM program. The summer program is still going to be just as robust as it has been. It's just we're cutting some of the costs by developing our own STEM kits and not having to spend the money to buy someone else's. So I just want to make sure that's clear.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. I appreciate that clarification. Yes, Mr. DeHoy.
I'd like to make a request that possibly for your next meeting or the one after. We just had Skills USA competition up there in Shreveport, and I'd like somebody to come present the results from it.
Okay.
Because we had the students go compete and did pretty well.
Sure,
I don't
we
know
had-
of all of it.
Someone from VOTEC went with them?
I don't
Yeah.
know all of that, but I do know
Okay.
they went, and it's at this time of the year.
Okay, yeah, that's a good
It's good for
idea.
us to know.
Yeah,
how it
it's a
turned out.
great program. I
Yes,
went,
yes.
well, we went
Yes.
many years ago,
Many
and it
years
was,
ago.
This is the state level competition.
Yeah.
okay, to the national, okay, sounds
Thank you.
good.
Thank you.
Any other comments from,
I
yes,
think we
Mr.
need
DeHoy.
I think we need a motion to
Right.
accept the report, even though we did not have any recommendations. Is that correct?
No,
We do not?
I thought it was just executive.
Like the executive, we do the, it's just a matter of accepting your report in its entirety.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ford, second by Mr. DeHart. Public comment? Mr. Ford or Mr. DeHart, any more comments? Any board comments? All right, being no further business, I turn the meeting back over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Benoit. Before we begin the superintendent's agenda, just a little operational. Board members, when you're speaking, please make sure your mics are on, because the public at home cannot hear you if your mic is not on. We can hear you in the room, but the live stream going home, the people at home watching cannot hear you if your mic's not on, because the live stream sound goes through the microphone. So let's make sure those are on. Going on to item number 7, agenda items, superintendent agenda.
Okay, item A1 is a resolution acknowledging Secretary's Week, April 24th to the 28th, 2023, and Secretary's Day, April 26th, 2023. The recommendation is that the board approve the following resolution acknowledging April 24th, 28th, 2023 as Secretary's Week, and April 26th, 2023 as Secretary's Day.
Moved by Mr. Ford. Second, do I have a unanimous second? Yes. Mr. Ford, you have a comment?
I have to support this.
You have to go, I understand your position. Any other board members?
I would just like to say, in my short time being on the board, Ms. Ramona is one of the most efficient secretaries that I've ever known.
Any public comment? Any objections? None heard, so ordered.
Would you like me to read the resolution?
Would like to read the resolution. Whereas April 24th through 28th, 2023 has been proclaimed as Secretary's Week. Whereas Wednesday, April 26th, 2023 has been designated as Secretary's Day. Whereas school and department secretaries are responsive to the well-being of students, professional personnel, support personnel, parents, and the community. And whereas the Terrebonne Parish School Board wishes to publicly recognize the contributions that school and department secretaries make to the educational progress of our district, now therefore be it resolved that the Terrebonne Parish School Board hereby acknowledges the week of April 24th through the 28th of 2023 as Secretary's Week, and April 26, 2023 as Secretary's Day, and expresses our deep appreciation to the secretaries for their unselfish service to schools, departments, and the community, and be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be forwarded to all Terrebonne Parish public schools and office buildings.
Thank you, Dr. Maybell. I want to publicly thank Melissa for all the work she does in our office. She's tremendous as well. Her and Ramona work tremendously well together, orchestrating and organizing so many things in our whole department. So thank you all. And on behalf of all secretaries and on behalf of the board, secretaries, we can't do this job without them. They are invaluable in all that they do. So we thank them tremendously. Like I said, heartfelt thanks to all that they do, for all they do. So thank you, secretaries
And our
of
committee,
Terrebonne Parish.
Secretaries, Ms. Jan, Ms. Sandy, and Ms. Becky. Thank y'all.
Yes.
Do a great job.
Yes. Okay, item number 2, resolution acknowledging Teacher Appreciation Week, May 8th through the 12th, 2023. The recommendation is that the board approve the following resolution acknowledging May 8th to 12th, 2023 as Teacher Appreciation Week.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Hamner, unanimous second?
Yes.
Motion by Mr. Hamner, unanimous second. Any public comment? Mr. Hamner?
Read the resolution, please.
Okay. Let me finish the vote, then we'll do that. Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered. Our resolution for Teacher Appreciation Week. Whereas the week of May 8th through the 12th, 2023 has been designated as Teacher Appreciation Week. Whereas teachers are dedicated to promoting quality instruction for all students. Whereas teachers mold the minds and influence the lives of thousands of youngsters each year. Whereas teachers prepare students for a happy and successful role in society, now therefore be it resolved that the Terrebonne Parish School Board hereby acknowledges the week of May 8th through the 12th, 2023 as Teacher Appreciation Week, and extends heartfelt thanks and appreciation to teachers throughout the district. Be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be forwarded to all Terrebonne Parish public schools and departments. And I know all of us have teachers to thank for where we are today, because without them, none of us would be where we are today. Thank you, teachers. Anyone else?
Yeah, again, just to echo what Dr. Trahan said, we are so thankful for the pouring in from our teachers into our kids. It's remarkable to see not every day, but when I do have a chance to see that, it's phenomenal what they do every day, pouring in, literally pouring into our kids. So we thank them from the bottom of our hearts for all they do. And tonight, this 5%, it wasn't a tremendous amount, but it was a proclamation that we really value them, and we want to just acknowledge that through that 5% raise. So again, Board, thank you for doing that. I think that speaks a whole lot of how much we value teachers and everybody, secretaries and all of our employees, just to kind of just reiterate that one more time. So thank you.
Mr. Ford.
So, since I have this opportunity, I want to thank the most influential teacher in my life, and it happens to be someone that wasn't my teacher at all, but she's my favorite person in the world, my Aunt Rochelle Walker. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be a teacher, and I certainly would not be sitting on this panel right now. I had a lot of difficult choices when I was 17 that I had to make, and if it weren't for her influence, I wouldn't be sitting here today. So, I never had an opportunity to thank her for that, and maybe this will get back to her, but I just want her to know how special she's been to me. Thank you.
That's why you're a math teacher.
Okay. Ms. Ogeron.
Excuse me, number 3, resolution acknowledging Educational Bosses Week, May 15th to the 19th, 2023. The recommendation is that the board approve the following resolution acknowledging May 15th through the 19th, 2023 as Educational Bosses Week.
Who was that? Mr. Dior?
Unanimous second.
Unanimous second by Mr. Ford. Any public comment? Ms. DeHart? Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered. The resolution for Educational Bosses Week. Whereas the week of May 15th through 19th, 2023 has been proclaimed as Educational Bosses Week, whereas Terrebonne Parish's educational administrators are dedicated to promoting the cause of education, whereas the role of the administrator is increasingly demanding, complex, and a vital part of the entire educational process, whereas administrators are responsive to the needs of students and the community, and whereas administrators must often participate unselfishly in professional and civic activities, now therefore be it resolved that the Terrebonne Parish School Board hereby acknowledge the week of May 15th through 19th, 2023 as Educational Bosses Week in appreciation of the many contributions of school and office administrators. Be it further resolved that the copies of this resolution be forwarded to all Terrebonne Parish public schools and office buildings.
Thank you, Dr. Strong.
May I just say something? We only need another week for support workers and for students, and then we'll have
That's
everybody covered.
That's right.
So noted.
Okay, item 4, personnel section, leave of absence. That's a leave of absence or leave without pay. The recommendation is that the board approve a leave of absence without pay in accordance with policy file F-11.10 for Thais D. Riley Moore, intervention content leader at Oak Lawn Middle School, beginning March 22nd, 2023 through April 28th, 2023, medical.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Voisin,
Second.
second by Ms. Benoit. Any public comment? Mr. Voisin?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Benoit? Any other board members? Any objections? None heard, so ordered.
Okay, next for your perusal is personnel actions for the period of March 6, 2023 through March 24th, 2023. That's information only, and you have that at your desk.
Okay. Our next issue on our agenda is a parental appeal for student 0153525. Do I have a motion to go into executive session? Mr.
Second.
Ford, second by Mr. Voisin. Any public comment? Mr. Ford? Mr. Voisin, any other board members, any objections? None heard, so ordered.